Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. We are at part 2 of Amanda Antoni's Mysterious Death Oracle readings. We did part 1 in the wee hours, and I'm now doing part 2. It is like in the, what time is it? 5? No, it's 6:31 p.m. So I have to say, friends, that you may hear different sounds than you heard at part 1. Part 1, no one's really out except for some, dogs, like street dogs. But you might hear motorcycle sounds. You may hear loud music or construction even. So I just have to say that in advance. I'm going to keep the recording going though, because I am tapped in at this point. So sorry, friends. I apologize ahead of time and just pray that nothing pops up. We're going to get into clues about who may be involved. Like clues. We have prominent forehead. Okay. Nicely dressed. Child or childlike. I picked up in part 1 that the person felt impulsive. Who the main, like one of the main people. Hazel eyes. Obese or overweight. That's interesting. Maybe they were obese and overweight back when this all occurred, or maybe they are now. We do know that there was a couple of cards that indicated 2 or more people are in the know, are involved. And then we have someone who's weak. Weak. Okay. All right, so I'll show you what we got from my Defining Characteristics Oracle. Prominent forehead. So the person, there's something about their forehead that stands out. Maybe it's big. Maybe there's starting to be a receding hairline. Maybe they're bald and all you can see is their forehead. So one of the 2 people. Prominent forehead. 1 or more, 2 or more, I should say, from that card in part 1. Nicely dressed. When someone's nicely dressed, that means they may now be doing well for themselves, right? They have the means to buy nice clothes. They're nicely dressed. Maybe they were nicely dressed back when this happened. Maybe they're really nicely dressed now. But there you go. We have child or childlike. Maybe a child is the clue. Or I sense that it's more about the personality of one of the main people. Oh, there's the construction sounds. Oh. We have hazel eyes. I feel like with the child, and I want to circle back to this card, there is this sense that somebody who's impetuous, like a child, impatient, impulsive. One of the cards that came up representing impulsiveness. So this card can speak to that. We have hazel eyes. Obese or overweight. Could be a witness too, by the way. Weak. So one of the key players is weak or was weak at the time. A couple of things in part 1 that came up was that there were 2 cards that represented help, like murder for hire, and then the card before that one was hired help. So we also got 2 or more involved. I suppose it could be gang. I don't know if they have gang activities in Canada like that, like we do in the United States. I don't know. But yeah, I'll zoom in. So what I'm getting here is that multiple players, some pockets of information comes up about a couple of people. And I think the obese and overweight card is here next to the weak card to demonstrate that there's 2 or more people involved. Because I mean, I suppose you could be like, okay, someone was kind of heavyweight or, you know, overweight back when, and now they're skinny, or maybe vice versa. But I'm getting a sense there was a couple of people involved. Huh. Maybe a female. Maybe a female. Okay. All right. All right. So now I'm going to pull from the Who Clarifying Oracle. No. 1 to 2 more cards. Okay, so we have horse, and the horse has years up here. Like, for example, like what years were like the Chinese astrology or is associated with. So 1978, 1990, 2002, and then it goes all the way up to 2026. But it's incompatible with monkey. And monkey is incompatible with horse. So there was some sort of incompatibility going on. And that could be in a relationship or some sort of dynamic that was shaping up that led to the circumstances of what happened. So, yeah. Let me look here. Monkey has, I mean, the years go back as far as 1944, but I don't think that would be applicable. I would think we have 1980, 1992, maybe 2004. But what stands out to me is like there's these 2 different cards representing perhaps 2 different people. It can also simultaneously mean that Amanda was incompatible with someone. And that led to problems. Someone who's nearby. Someone who lives close, very close, knows her comings and goings. Gemini. Gemini could represent the astrological sign of a key person, a witness, or someone involved. And it can also represent the time period of like May 21st to June 21st, something of significance happening during that time period. Or it could be representing the astrological sign of the person, the main person who's involved, or preceding what happened to her. There could have been something going on during the season of Gemini. Because she died later in the year, but in autumn. This card represents late spring, so in the northern hemisphere. So I'm going to pause here because I'm going to close the window, even though it's going to be stifling. I'm going to close the window because there's too many distractions for me, for my liking. This is why I like to do these readings in the middle of the night, but the problem is my sleep schedule ends up getting all thrown off. So I'll be right back because I'll take a picture, close the window, and we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Be right back. Now we are going to be covering the following questions, and I'll be sure to put these questions in the pinned comment and the description section so we know these are the questions that we bring forth to the reading table today. The first one is, what evidence was contaminated or missed? Okay. Then we have, What is something police know but are not revealing? And the last one, clues on who knows more or is responsible for her death. We covered that one pretty much in earlier with the defining characteristics and the who clarifying oracle decks that I did just a few moments ago. But we're going to see if there's more clues. So this is the information that we're asking you, Spirit, to give us related to Amanda's death. Rumors and tabloids. So remember, what evidence was contaminated or missed? What does the police know that they're not revealing? Okay. Maybe some of it is preserved. Some of the evidence. I'll move these in a moment and zoom in so you can see what I'm looking at. But some evidence is gone forever. You have debt. Who's in debt? Fear. So let me show you so far what we got so you can see what we're working with. All right, so we've got rumors and tabloids. And in part one's reading I did last night, we got heavy speculation. So this case, maybe in Canada, has a lot of heavy speculation assigned to it or associated with it. Rumors and tabloids, it's going to be difficult to parse out with this case what's true, what's not. But there's some bits of evidence that really could have pointed them in the right direction, that maybe had been some conjecture or rumor, right? That's what I'm picking up with this card. You all let me know what you think to what that card is saying. The next card we got was man. We got the man card. I'll talk about that in a moment. We got video, audio, or surveillance. Interesting. This is, remember what we're talking about. What evidence was contaminated or missed? And what is something the police know or not revealing? And, you know, clues on who may know more or who's responsible. Next card we got is alive. Interesting. Interesting. Photos. This is, by the way, from my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle. I'm working on it slowly but surely to break this 160 card deck. I divided it up into smaller decks and also to create expansion packs because, you know, in true crime, you can come up with thousands of keywords if you really wanted to. But you got to narrow them down. And that's what I'm working on with this deck. But for now, you can buy the full 160 cards if you want to work with it, even if you don't do these types of readings. I use it for unique types of readings, and I will link a description in the description box, a video on how I work with this deck, aside from true crime or suspicious death readings. We have debt and fear. Now, I want to show you all something. I'm going to zoom in for just a moment. The man over the collapse card is interesting to me. Somebody was near a collapse, in ruin. Was that related to something she knew, or was Amanda was in the know about? A man was about to be at ruin at the time of her death. And there was no evidence, by the way, of her having an affair. I'll just say that, and I'll leave it there. And you all can catch what my drift is. So the video, audio, and surveillance card is next to the alive. I want to really hone in on these cards. So this could speak to, yes, someone who's alive today, her husband, at the time, he was captured on surveillance at a gas station. Okay. But there's also something else. There's other surveillance that captures other people's movement. Also the victim, Amanda's movement, that police aren't talking about, or that they may not want to reveal to the public. There's certain things that they have to keep close. Law enforcement will keep certain bits of information close to the vest, so that if a potential like witness or perp comes through and they mention something about it, they know that they have evidence to corroborate that and give credence to what that witness is saying. So I get a sense that when she was alive, and this could be in the days or hours preceding Amanda's death, she was captured when she was alive, and there is key information about who she may have been talking to or dealing with or having to face. Yeah. When she was alive. Now, I'm always curious to hear what you all have to say. When I do these readings, I also open up the floor, if you will, to your intuitive insights and hits. This is a safe space where we do that. Of course, we do it respectfully, but we do it. And, yeah, that's what we do. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your takes are on the cards, or if you did your own reading, what are you seeing? I never tire of reading your comments as it relates to these cases. Photos. Some photos. Photos of what? Photos of who? Amanda. Photos of the crime scene. Photos of the days and weeks preceding this. And I will pull from my timing oracle at the end to see what are some key time frames associated with this case. But photos, it could be also photos on her Facebook, photos on someone who's close to her Facebook. We have a man collapse or ruin next to the debt and fear card. Someone was fearful about being like at collapse or near ruin as it relates to debts and fears about those debts, and that perhaps that Amanda knew some information and she was acting on that information. This doesn't feel, and I believe like some cops were saying, or some people were speculating, that this is totally random, and I suppose it could. I suppose it could be some sort of gang activity or some sort of, pet, like people who steal, go around house to house stealing, and they have an operation like that. Or it could be a gang situation that did this with her. But I feel like it's closer. Let me know what you all think. Because I feel like she knew something. The nearby card came up earlier. And in part 1, there's clues to me that says, you need to go a little deeper with this one. Someone was in debt. Someone could be in debt now, or maybe in debt at the time of her passing. Okay? Clue. Law enforcement could know about that. Fear. I'm going to pull some additional cards because I always like to have a full set or spread. What else, Spirit? Fear. She was in fear to go upstairs. Oh, in part 1, that came up too. She was in fear to go upstairs. She was afraid. She was delirious. She was fearful. And she ended up dying down there in that basement. We have domestic violence. Okay. I should have said DV, but well. Beach. Clues or evidence missed. Jail or imprisonment. Information that cops may not want to share or reveal. We got propaganda. Something else so you can Destruction of evidence, arson, fire. And that's sitting next to the circumstantial evidence cards. We'll talk about that in a moment. Unloved or unwanted. Somebody in this dynamic felt unloved or unwanted. Wooded area. All right. So now we've got DV, beach, jail or imprisonment, and propaganda. Circumstantial evidence, arson, destruction, or fire, unloved, unwanted, wooded area. So remember our questions, clues on who knows more or who's responsible, someone who battered her or she knew of battery towards someone else. So there's that. Allegedly, all of this of what we're speaking of is alleged and my opinion or intuitive hit only. And those who leave comments, they represent their own opinions. We have beach. I'm not quite sure what this is saying. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Someone who lives near the beach, who's in the know now, maybe they live now by a coastal town, someone who's involved or someone in the know, or maybe they did at the time. I'm not quite sure, and I'm never afraid to let you all know when something is not clear to me. I'd rather just be transparent and say it and be sure about what I do see and feel and know in my gut. This I'm not sure. And so then I ask you all, and then you kindly leave a comment and say, hey, I think it means this. And I'm like, I see. This is a collaborative reading experience. We have jail or imprisonment. Someone has a record who is one of the folks in the know. Someone did do some time unrelated to this. Someone will go do some time related to this. Someone did time, got out. But jail or imprisonment, that's an interesting one. That's interesting. Nothing in this spread, too, is telling me that she fell, accident. Yeah. And nothing came up really except for one card, and I talked about it in part 1, that suggested to me, okay, possibly she lost her footing, but everything else is like, no, this is something else. We have propaganda. Speaking of something else, propaganda. I would say this could be, there's a lot of propaganda pushing forth that this narrative that this was possibly an accident. The only thing is that we've got someone that the neighbors are seeing someone leave her home or was in the area of her home running in the opposite direction. We see these legs. I pay attention to these things, propaganda. And so I'm just curious as to if the police are putting this narrative out here to say, look, we've done everything we can, family, to exhaust all efforts to get answers. We even put this on Unsolved Mysteries. Look at us. Look what we did. Look how we are moving to try to get answers. And we still come back to this was just an unfortunate, tragic accident. That's what I'm picking up on. That law enforcement allegedly is not telling family with this card. Then we have circumstantial evidence. A lot of circumstantial evidence. So Spirit is directing us to there was evidence that may have been destroyed inadvertently or on purpose. So you've got these two cards. Circumstantial evidence. Arson, destruction, fire is the next card. Yeah. Purposeful and someone inadvertently and unintentionally getting rid of evidence that could have cracked the case and really unlocked what happened. Yeah. There could have been circumstantial evidence related to the DV of this card. photos, something critical that may have been ignored or not really honed in on, but maybe after someone sees this reading, perhaps, go back and look at her Facebook photos or look at people close to her, the photos. Check things out a little closer, because someone in this dynamic around her or Amanda herself was unloved or unwanted. And they didn't mention anything about her being pregnant, so we're not going to go there. But maybe she wanted a baby, or maybe she didn't want a baby and her partner did, or allegedly, or maybe, you know, she felt unloved or unwanted in some form or fashion with someone else or with her partner, or maybe the partner felt unloved or unwanted, or maybe someone around her that she bore witness to felt unloved or unwanted. Maybe she was done with something, a situation. Wooded area, the forest. Sometimes this could be metaphoric, right? For we are deep in the forest and I don't know if we're going to see our way out of this. Meaning, I don't know if we're going to get the answers we really want or want to get. Will we make our way out of the forest? It could be at a nearby wooded area near her home or residence. There was key information or evidence there, placed there, came back later and destroyed, perhaps. Okay, I'm going to pause here, check and see how much time we have, because I do have a couple of other decks I want to work with, but I'm going to double check because I don't want the video super, super long. I'll be right back. We got a little time, and I'm going to work with the Divine Crime Oracle. Okay, we're going to work with that. And remember what we're looking for. I want to make sure we're clear. What evidence was contaminated or missed? What is something police know but aren't revealing? And clues on who knows more is responsible for her death. I mean, certainly, it could be like, oh, it's her. No suspect or accomplice. Oh, that's heartbreaking. I'll show you in a moment. Eventually, I'm going to bring in more lights. Here's the thing, friends, about more lights. It's hot. I don't have AC in my office, my reading room. Eventually, that'll happen. But for now, I don't. And most days it's tolerable, but some days it's very, very humid and hot. So I don't light the candles like I do in the wintertime. I have to be mindful of that. So I just share that all with you. Like, that's why the lights are dim. Your friend is over here melting, okay? We're melting. So I want to pull some cards from this deck, Spirit. Share with us what you know, what you want to reveal to us. Ah. Let me show you what we got so far. We got North, male suspect, accomplice. Awaiting rescue or delays. This one made me sad. I'll tell you why. Because I feel like if she had gotten some medical care, she may have been able to make this through. Maybe. She would have had a much better chance if she got medical intervention when this happened. But sadly, that didn't happen. And I'm so sorry for her family and loved ones and friends. This is just, a lot. So then we have cold case. Certainly, this is what it is and what it's been. And I'm worried that this will continue to be what it will be and what law enforcement may know but aren't really quite sharing the full totality of why they think it is. I think there is a hope within the agencies that are investigating or who are assigned to investigate Amanda's death, there are some people who are rallying around and want the truth to come out and know that there's key evidence that hasn't been revealed that warrants more exploration. But the vast majority, or the belief in law enforcement, is that this is what? Let me show you. Let me show you what came up. I'll go through these cards in a moment, but accident. This is a tragic accident. And she died as a result of awaiting help or needing help or getting delays in critical medical treatment. So that's something that they know. They also know that there was someone that they were interested in, but they had no evidence no concrete evidence, and they had to let him go. Or they know of someone, male suspect accomplice, who lived or traveled or was in the north or lives in the north of where this all happened. Now, the north is, it could be like North Street, Northampton, North Hampstead Road. I don't know. North is of a key word associated with this case. Okay. All right. So other cards we got was night, dark, wandering alone and secluded. Now, there was someone who ran off into the night. It was starting to probably get dark. I don't know what time it got dark in October in Canada, in Calgary. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But the neighbors / witnesses saw someone darting away from her home around the time that they heard the dogs barking. So maybe this is what this is speaking to. One of the persons involved has moved 1,000 kilometers or more away. Or when I first saw this card, I thought, oh, maybe Calgary police might get assistance from someone, like an expert who's from far away. Maybe the witness who saw this moved far away. But this distance, this amount of distance is going to be important. I'm waving at my husband. It's so different for me doing readings, these types of readings during the day when people are up and at 'em and moving about. It's like, oh, there's someone walking by my window. Oh, I know that person. It's my husband. Burn down, fire, arson. The arson or burn down card came up not too long ago, right? A few moments ago. So there's key evidence that was burned or destroyed. There's some kind of fire that is related to the situation. I don't know how, I don't know what. Fire related to someone who's in the know or who's involved. Maybe nothing really to do with this case, but a clue to who this person might be. They had to deal with a house fire. It could be something like that. All right, let's pull few more. Spirit, we're looking for clues or evidence that was missed. This is another chunky deck, the Divine Oracle, Divine Crime Oracle. November is of Importance by Divine Visions. Tied or bound. She was not tied or bound, but something, that's interesting. Maybe she felt bound in that area. Car accident. We'll do one more row from this deck. Lust, affair, temptation, or infidelity. Oh, look at that. Opportunity, random, or impulse. The two keywords that stand out to me is impulse, because that came up in part 1, and opportunity. Random is interesting, though, because that is a common theory that there was high crime in this area, although her neighborhood looked like, what was it? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some picturesque a suburban town on television. I can't think of anything. But, you know, her neighborhood, her house didn't look like it was in a dangerous neighborhood. I've lived in really rough neighborhoods. And it just in Calgary, I know looks probably could be deceiving because it looks picturesque from the pictures I saw. But yeah. Yes, we're going to pull 2 more cards. Kidnapped, abduction. If you all think that this warrants a detailed tarot reading where we're asking specific questions, let me know. But let me know your questions. I always ask that because it's like, okay, we could do a detailed tarot reading, but I always am curious to hear what you would like to pose to the cards, because sometimes I'm like, the oracle readings are enough. One more card, Spirit, related to Amanda Antoni's case. Family. All right, let's talk about these cards. So, oh, there's such a glare. Hold on. I have to get the glare. And it's still a glare. Sorry, friends. I'll just pull those cards up for you. But we talked about these already. The next cards we need to talk about is Outback, Rural, or Deserted. This could be one of the key people living in a rural or area. Some key evidence being taken to a deserted area, destroyed. You know, someone's like where they live now in present day 2024. I'm recording this, what is it, August 3rd, 2024. So maybe they live in a rural area. November is of importance. This indicates November, something happening in November, in the past, something happening in the future November, or someone's birth month. So November is of importance. What I find interesting is tied up and bound is over the kidnapped card. So this could have been a threat or the impression that someone would be kidnapped or bound or abducted, or was held against their will, emphasis on that, or fearing that they were being held against their will. The car accident card, at first when I saw it, is kitty corner to this accident card, but this feels different. This feels like it's speaking to what the police believe, or the vast majority of officers are just deciding on what they're going to believe. And then, so there's that instance of accident as a key word. But then we have car accident. And this could mean that someone was involved in a car accident, who's, you know, a key player to this whole situation or knows critical information. It could mean that they were in recent years in a car accident. So if you know someone close to the situation, who lived in this area, and, you know, I don't know, you could go in different directions. A car accident could have immediately followed in November or right between when this happened to her in November. And there's even a police report or fire department report about this accident. Is what Spirit is telling me to share with you all, that someone's seen something. Here's the thing about accidents. When you have accidents, usually when a car accident happens, it's because one or more of the people involved, the two drivers at the very least, are out of alignment in their general life, and that they're in great out of alignment. Like they are really going through some things at high anxiety. One or more of the like if there's multiple vehicle collisions, one or more of the drivers will be going through something. And what this person who had a car accident was going through was that they knew about this whole thing that happened with Amanda, and they hold guilt and grief over it. Grief card came up in part 1. So check that out for more information on that. But we have lust, affair, temptation, and infidelity. This is not the first time in doing readings for Amanda's case that this card came up. I don't feel like it's her that was stepping out. I'll just leave it at that. I feel like she knew of something or someone was doing things. And yeah, you all let me know what you think that card means. Respectfully so, though. You know, we talked a bit about opportunity and random and impulse, as well as kidnapped and abduction. I just feel like she felt like if she went upstairs, she would be really hurt, and she just ended up dying from her wounds in the basement, away from her phone. Spirit also, in my dreams last night, gave me the wherewithal to say today that she had the wherewithal to be able to call the ambulance if she could get to her phone. But she was so disoriented from her injury and so scared. You know, sometimes with injuries, it amplifies your fear that something worse was going to happen to her. We have family. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to be frank with you on this one. I don't know what this one could mean. Okay? I don't know. Let me know what you all think the family card is saying. I don't think her family had anything to do with this. Of course, some people might beg to differ. Everything that we're saying in this video and in the comment section is alleged. So there's that. But it could be the family of the person or persons who are involved. No. What is going on? You know when your family member is not acting right and they done did something bad and wrong, and you see them and you see their old behaviors and they're not acting right and they're acting grief-stricken, but nobody that y'all know of died, but they're acting grief-stricken. So family could be in the know around the perps, and that could be what this card is speaking to. All right, let me stop here. So we're going to work with the trace evidence telling cards. Anything else, Spirit? 1 to 3 cards surrounding. We have aunt. She kind of looks like her. Choke. Karmic partner. Con man. So Spirit wants to leave us with these parting messages in this oracle reading. We have aunt. You know how aunts can be just all-knowing? Whether they're nosy or if they're not nosy, they just seem to know everything. That's the vibe I'm getting. And this woman in this picture kind of reminds me of Amanda in the face. Kind of favors her. And what I will say with this is it feels like she was somebody's aunt, or having to be somebody's counsel, having to be somebody's protector, and having to do things that she didn't necessarily always feel like having to do, but she did it anyway with this lady holding guns, you know. Let me know what you all think this card is saying. It really does look like her, and it looks like there's I just now noticed this. There's target practice here. Was somebody doing target practice related to this case? I don't know. Do people own guns up there? Y'all let me know. Choke. There was a struggle upstairs that led her to fear never going upstairs unless she really needed to. But unfortunately, she was mortally wounded by her head injury and also very delirious, and it caused her to choose to just stay down there. But unfortunately, she succumbed to her injuries. And it may not have made a difference. I'm going to let her family know this. I did ask for her to share a message with me to pass on to her family. And one thing that is coming through now is that there's nothing that you all could have done. Even if Lee had said something She was further gone. She's strong. She's a fighter. This is also what this card is telling me here, this aunt card. She's a fighter. But even with all that fighting spirit inside of her, it wouldn't have made a difference. So if there's a part of guilt in your grief that you're experiencing, she wants you to soothe your aching heart over it. And I'm getting emotional over that. But yeah, I just have to say that. There was a fight that ensued. That scared her. We have the choke card. Someone wanting to choke back the truth or choke her, prevent her breathing or prevent her saying something. Impulsive actions. We have karmic partner. Karmic partner. I'm going to sit with that one. Let's sit with that one. Lastly, we have con man. Somebody who maybe already gave a statement to law enforcement, but is a con artist, allegedly. It tells a great story. Does the whole switcheroo though on you. Maybe there's a bit of her coming through. Amanda, like, I was conned. I was conned. I was conned. Yeah, I want to hear from you all on what you all think about this. Let me know a few things here. What do you think about the cards that came up? Did you even watch Netflix's latest installments of Unsolved Mysteries? Did you see this case covered? I want to hear from you and hear what your intuitive thoughts, your logical thoughts, because over here we combine the intuitive with the logical. And we see where things, land and see what makes sense and what don't. We're critical thinking intuitives, I like to say. So I want to hear from you, whether you use cards or you just went with your intuition. Share in the comment section down below. Do me a favor, on your way out, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me that you're rocking with me. And I'm thinking about doing one more case from this Unsolved Mysteries installment. I may put it up as a poll to see how much interest there is in it. If there's great interest in it, then I will consider recording it and then publishing it for next Monday's Mystery Mystic Monday drop. We'll see. Okay? All right, friends. Take very good care. Bye for now.